Welcome to my YouTube channel. I want to share my workshop projects with others to inspire people to start their own projects. Together, we'll do bladesmithing, blacksmithing, woodworking, and whatever else I've got going in my workshop. If you're interested, please click the subscribe button to subscribe to my channel and the notification bell to be notified of new videos. Today we're going to build the base for the spar bar. We start out with a 20-inch drain rim for a water heater. It's made out of aluminum. In addition, we have some hardware. We have this bolt which is going to go in the center. And we have 4 eye bolts. And what these are going to be, they're going to be mounted different locations here, forming a square. And that's going to be used for lifting the base, because what we're going to do is I'm going to glue these in, and we're going to pour concrete. And when the concrete hardens, these eye bolts will be able to raise up and lift the base for the spar bar. This is a 20-inch base. Now that 20 inches, I assume, is from here to here. And I'm looking at this ruler here. I think it's pretty accurate. So what I've done is I've taken a washer and some string, and I'm going to measure off 20 inches. And that 20 inches will begin right on the inside of this yardstick. So I'm going to come here, and right there is 20, or 10, sorry. And I'll mark it with this magic marker. So the next step, I'm going to mark this, or take this black mark, and I'm going to draw a little circle out here, which should mark off about 10 inches. Now I'm going to go to a different location, say perpendicular, and I'm going to do the same thing. So this marks our center, and what I have here is I have a 5/8 inch bolt, and it's 3 inches long. So I'm going to glue it right here, and the idea is when I'm going to have a column here, which is the base part, or let's say the pipe that comes up for the spar bar, and it's going to thread right onto that. So the next thing I have to do is locate these 4 eye bolts. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to basically do a 90-degree, just basically cut it in 4 pieces. I have my protractor here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it for, I'm not sure if you can see this very well, 90 degrees. And from the center, I'm going to want to offset it from this hole, because I'm going to plug this hole so it won't be in the way. So I'm going to start here. Extend that. So then another line. I'll extend those 2 lines, and then I'll mark the exact point where I want to have the eye bolts. Okay, so I'm going to measure in 3 inches from each end and mark a point. And that'll be the point where I'm going to glue down the eye bolts. Those are points. So next step is I'm going to take these bolts off, and I have washers for them. And the reason for that is the more resistance to the concrete pulling off from the concrete, the better. These bolts, the nuts on these are fairly small. Just want to make sure that we get good grip on the concrete. Get a piece of sheet metal, and I got a slight contour on it just so it fits right. Cut it out, and you can see here, it's a pretty good fit. The whole point is just to keep the concrete from overflowing. So next step is the gluing. Okay, I'm going to mix some glue here. I will start with these outer pieces. Last but not least is this one. I'm going to let it dry. Now we're probably going to have some movement, particularly on these, because I don't really have a lot of glue surface there, but once we pour the concrete, I can just move around a little bit if I need to. Well, that's it for now. We're going to let it set, and then we're going to pour some concrete. Okay, so today we're back. The glue has dried. Everything's in place. Before we pour the concrete, there's a couple things I want to do. One is, if you look here, let me pull these off. You see a little gap there? So I'm going to run some tape on the inside here, just to prevent any overflow of concrete. Also, I'm going to also put around the rim a couple screws coming in that will help keep the base, the aluminum base, attached to the concrete. Okay, I've got 4 of these screws here. I've already put one in, and that should be long enough. The whole idea is that the cement will attach itself to the screw, which will hold the base on. So I'm going to put these on real quick. Since I already have, I'm using 4 points, so I'm just going to use the same lines I did earlier. that should work. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to put some masking tape right here along the inside. Right here. So let me cut a piece off, put it in there. That should do it. What I use is Quickcrete, and it's the high strength. And the reason it's a high strength is because it has better bonding and will stay together, bond much better, not only to the parts inside the drip pan, but also with itself, so I won't have to lay any reinforcement in. So I'm not going to show you while I mix it. I'm sure you don't want to see that. So I'm going to go ahead and mix this up, and then we're going to put the concrete in. Okay, I've got a pretty soupy mix. So what I'm going to do is, and I think this is important, I'm going to lift this up, each of these washers, and I'm going to put the concrete underneath and put it back down. And I'm going to make sure I have concrete around the important areas here, and then, of course, put the rest in. Okay, well that finishes the base. So I put the handles on. They're very sturdy. And what I did on the ends, I put some black tape and cut off the extra just to make it look better. And Move on to the next one. I'll take this aside. We'll continue. Okay, now that we finished the base, we're going to move on to the other parts of our sparring bar. This is 1-inch conduit, actually. This is 3/4 inch conduit. And the way this is going to work, and this is 3/4 inch threaded rod, which is, very difficult to get these days. I'm not sure why. Anyway, just give you an idea how this is all going to go fit together. See if I have room here. Let me do it this way. I would cut this, but unfortunately, I don't know how long it has to be yet. So I'm just going to slide this in. So this is the way it's going to work. This piece here is going to be in a telescope relationship with the larger one. And what I'm going to do is I have some of these. I got them on Amazon. Not very expensive, actually. What they are is they're 3/4 inch ID bearings. And what's nice about them is that they're good for very high speed. Normally they're lubricated, but in this application, let's see if you can see this better. This is what it looks like. And it's sandwiched. They're sandwiched within 2 washers that come with it. So they have a nice flat, shiny surface to move on. So the way this works, we have the threaded rod, which is basically inside of this 3/4 inch conduit, and place this over. I put a T on it here, and then I have another one that goes on top. Okay, now this whole arrangement is going to slide inside of this. Unfortunately, I can't do it yet. Actually, maybe I can. Let me cut this piece so that I can run it up and show you more. Bear with me for a moment. Okay, I hope you can see this well. Anyway, in the end, this is what this is going to, the way this is going to work. These are the parts that I have. They have to be cut to length, and they have to be, of course, put together. That's what I'm going to show you. But right now, I just want to explain this. We're about to cut this piece of conduit here, which is what's going to actually go into the base, connect to the base. And we have the other conduit, which is smaller, of course, and it's going to slide in and out of the base here, along with the. I got the. I also have this. The threads inside there. Okay, that's going to be cut short, and on the bottom I'll have a bolt, which is going to hold this all together. That's where I'll cut the thread. So, in order to hold this smaller conduit in, I bought the coupling. All right, and this coupling is going to connect onto here like this. I'm going to take this screw is going to tighten into here to to actually give contact, to the pole, the larger pole. This I'm going to drill out and weld the nut on, and I actually have already done that. I'll show you shortly. And then I'll be able to put this all together. Now, what I want to do here is I need to figure out the length that I need to cut for this larger conduit, and I'm going to show you how I get that. So the children that I'm making this for, the shortest one is the length, the distance from the floor to his extended arm or shoulder is 32 inches. So, put this down. Okay. This piece here, you see here sitting, that's going to be our arm. We're going to have an arm that comes out, and it's going to have a noodle, a pool noodle on it for the kids to punch, and it's going to spin around. So what I need to do is make sure that this is going to work, that the height from here to the bottom of the base is going to be no more than 32 inches. So in order to do that, I've actually made a piece here. I'm going to put it on, and I'm going to show that to you, and then we're going to do the actual measurements and figure out the length of this, and we'll cut this. Then I have a 5/8 inch bolt, which will go into, or nut rather, that goes into the stud that we have in the center of the base. Now this is going to require some welding, and we'll get into that. So for now, I'm going to put the actual piece on here with the knob. And the reason for that is I've got to make sure that this is going to clear the knob. The knob's going to be a little bit larger, so this is actually going to have to be pulled out further. So bear with me for a moment. Okay, I took the piece, I welded it on a 5/16 nut. This is the knob, and I bought some of these from Amazon. So this is just going to thread into here, and it's going to use to tighten the telescopic part of the sparring bar. So I'm going to put this together here, and then we're going to figure out the measurement. First thing I do is I put this up. Then I put this pipe up onto it. Like that. I have to tighten the screw just a little bit to have the right dimension. I pull this down. I have my knob here. So the knob's going to sit here. Now here's where it gets a little bit complex. You can see when I put this arm on, which is going to actually be PVC, and this is actually going to be the cover for it. So I'm going to just slip this on here, okay? And what I need is this to clear the knob. So let's get that right to that point right there. That looks about right, okay? Make sure. Yeah, I made a little bit more safe. Okay, so now I have my dimension. Oops, just lost it. can see that. Okay, so from here to here, I'm going to say about 2 inches. Maybe make it, let's make it 2 1/4. That gets us to about this size, I'm estimating, okay? So now, let's make sure we clear, again, as before. I think that's good like that. So now, I'm going to have it sitting just like that. So I'm going to measure from here down to here. I don't know if you can see that or not. And I'm going to get, oh sorry, 2 1/4 from 32. So that's going to be 29 3/4. So I need to go 29 3/4 here. And I found it right here. Right at this point. So now I'm going to cut the main column, the larger conduit piece, and take it from there. Next thing I'll do after that is I'm going to weld in the nut, and this will be done. At least the tube will be done. Okay, I cut this to length. So now I need to insert this nut into here. I'm sure you can see it's pretty tight. So what I'm going to do, you can see here, pretty tight. Get closer to the camera. It's really a tight fit. And so what I usually do, I'll make 2 cuts with my grinder, and I'll press fit it in, and then I'm going to weld it. So let me get my grinder, and we'll get that started. Okay, that particular level wasn't working right, so I had to get another one. So right about there is plumb, and my table is level, so I think we're good. Check all sides. Okay, there. This. Okay, there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tack this, confirm the measurement, confirm that it's plumb, and then I'll go ahead and take it off and finish the welding, and then I'll be done. Okay, I got the welder set up. Okay, so I finished the welding and the grinding, and then I installed the pole on, and I checked for plumb, and it's certainly plumb. I've also added the connector with the handle, or the knob, sorry. And now we're going to figure out how long this piece has to be, the 3/4 inch conduit that goes inside, along with the rod. So bear with me here, and we'll figure that out. Okay, so now I have the new part installed, ground. Looks pretty good. Anyway, so if you remember, in order to get the 32-inch shoulder height from here down to here, we said it was 23 or 29 3/4. Okay, and then based on that, we determined this length. So now, since we now have welded a nut in here, I need to know where this piece is going to bottom out. And I need to figure out, based on that, so that we make sure we're above, or I'm sorry, below the 32 inches we want. Okay, so right now, you probably can't see this. Let me change the camera here. Okay, so I measure the inside all the way up to the connector here, and I get 26 1/4. Okay, so I marked off. You can see it right over here. Let me drop this down. I put a mark here, and I'm sure you can't see it, but that's the 29 3/4. I measured over the 26 1/4, right? So 26 1/4 is where I'm going to bottom out, and what's going to be at the bottom is going to be this nut welded onto this onto the threaded rod. So in order to determine the length of this 3/4 inch conduit, I'm going to go from this center down basically 26 1/4. Okay, so let's do that now. Looks about right. 26 1/4 is right here. So now I'm going to take this nut, which is where I bottom out, and it's going to be flush against this. So I'm going to mark it right where it's at. And right here is where I make the cut. So right now I'm going to go off and I'm going to cut that. And this length here, where the nut ends, is going to determine, that's going to be my length for the bar. Of course, you know, for the threaded rod, I'm going to have to measure from the top up here down to that point. I'll do that right now. And that is 28 1/2. Okay, so the rod is going to be cut at 28 1/2, and the 3/4 inch is going to be cut at this point right here. Okay, I'm going to go and make these cuts, and I'll be back. Okay, here we are. I've cut the 3/4 inch conduit to the correct length. And I have this long piece of threaded rod here, so I'm going to make my cut. So I'm going to mark it. I'll show you where. to mark it right here where the nut ends. And with that, I will proceed and cut the rod. And I will be right back. Okay, here I ground off the nut so that it will fit inside of the 1-inch conduit. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in, and we're going to do some more assembly today. Slides it real nice. Okay, so next we're going to put in the arm. To start off with, I'm going to use this. It's basically an adapter which goes from the size of this, which I believe, if I remember right, it's 1/2-inch MPT to 3/4 inch PVC pipe. So I just simply put this in. There we go. Okay. Here's the PVC pipe I have. It's 3/4 inch PVC. So I'm going to cut this. In this case, I'm going to probably go, I'm thinking about 25 inches. So I'm going to cut this, and the next step will be to glue it onto this, along with I have a cap that goes on as well. So let me cut this and we'll continue. Okay, I ended up cutting this PVC to 24 inches. I just thought for smaller children, the smaller the better. But then again, they have to grow into it as well. Okay, so now I'm going to just use this PVC cement, and I'm going to put this together. Okay, let's make this adjustment. So this is how it is right now. There's two things I look for. I want to get as fast a swing as I can, but at the same time, I want this to be nice and tight. It's pretty snug right now, but it doesn't turn as fast as I'd like. Let's see if we can improve that. Just a little bit. A hint. That's much better. We'll loosen it a little bit more just to see if we can make it better. Maybe it's a turn there. That is much better. Okay, but I have, you can see I have a lot of play there, so it's a little bit too tight. Just, okay. Just a little bit more. You should be able to see this. It's snug. Okay, I think we got it right there. Okay, I'm going to do some spot welds. Okay, so now I'm going to drill and tap the hole at the top. And what I did was I went and got the basically a tap kit. It includes both the drill bit and the tap. I mean, you can pick this up at any Lowe's or Home Depot. Okay, the hole is drilled, so now I'm going to do some tapping. Is a stud. 5/16 stud. And let me show you the rest of the apparatus. Okay, so I picked this up on Amazon. It's basically used that somebody could attach to their desk. Of course, I'm using it in this application. The spring here is kind of important because it'll provide some give. So we can attach this on the spring onto the balloon, or the bag, if you will. This is a stud that I'm going to use. This stud is going to also thread into this. But before I do that, I'm going to cut it. Let me get it started in here. Very good. Yeah, I've got some good. They're pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to cut this right about here. Then I'm going to thread this on. Okay. So now I'm going to, next step, we're going to cut a piece of foam. And it's going to go from here to here, so I'm going to need a piece, let's say 25 inches, 25 and a half. And I'll go ahead and do that on the table saw. I cut this at 26 and a half. I'm going to put it on here. Basically, it just slides on. I don't use any glue. It seems to always stay in there. And there we have it. So here we have it. I put a noodle here and put this noodle on as well. And there you go. I can adjust it up. And here we go. Make sure you're seeing that. Let me raise this a little bit. Good training tool. Think about it, if I take a square. Let's see how you practice. Anyway, this concrete base is pretty good. And that's a wrap. Hope you enjoyed the video.